And Jay. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Issue Night. If you've never seen the show before, we talk about important and serious issues of the day, issues that may be in the headlines, maybe they're not, but we're going to talk about them. We're going to inform you. We're going to educate you. We come to you on YouTube, so don't forget.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell. Subscribe. Just click every button you can, and we'd appreciate that. You'd really help us out.
And so how do I get notified that the show's starting?
It started, Tony. I'm telling you right now, it started.
So I wait for you to tell me.
You can wait for me, and then you'll know.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Because I wasn't sure. Thank you.
Okay, so make sure you wait around. If you have to miss work, if you have to miss your kid's event, wait around and listen for when the show's starting, or read it. You read it on YouTube. And then you can participate. By the way, we have a chat. You can participate in that. So if you have questions, if you have comments on anything we say, please participate in the chat.
Right now we have 0 people watching. Oh, one person. One person's watching. Is it you, Tony?
That's me. Yeah.
Okay, so that's not real. Upper left-hand corner says 1 person. So we're going to try to get that up high. Okay? Go ahead, Jay. First issue.
Okay,
we're trying to double that number by the end of the show.
Wow.
First issue, we like to call this Philharmonic Issues. Philharmonics are, my understanding, what I'm reading here, they are struggling throughout the country. People, right, with attendance, right?
Cutbacks, Jay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't go to them. Do you guys go to them? Do you guys ever watch Philharmonic?
That's the music. They play the instruments.
I think it's, from what I'm told, like you go to some hall and there's people with instruments.
Like
and they
guitar?
Well, no, I think it's like harps and...
Drums?
No. I think they're just like violins and harps.
I think it's the only place you can get like a job hitting the triangle.
Right.
Yeah. For those who are good at the triangle, if you feel gifted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never was
so if you want to go and watch people play the harp, the triangle, the what is it, like a cello?
Oboe?
Yeah, an oboe, a cello.
Lots of violins.
And lots of violins.
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets dark in there. If you like that, then you can go and watch them. And they're supposed to all play together. It's supposed to sound like something. But
like synchronized music playing?
Something. Or syncopated, one of the two.
So what? So the issue here, Jay?
The issue is that no one's really going. I don't know if people know. Maybe you should be going. So I don't even think people know. For every tax dollar they spend, there's 50 cents goes to this Philharmonic. So people don't know enough about them. So there's people that have to go out and get other jobs. They have to get second jobs. So we want to explore that today.
So Jay, we went to the parade in Strikersville Parade.
We did.
Yeah, and it was exciting. They had a lot of stuff. They didn't have any tanks, but they had big things that look like tanks. What are they called? 3 wheels?
Tricycles?
Yeah, but they're motorized.
Motorized tricycles?
Yeah. So, what happened is a lot of the bands, they were hiring Philharmonic players. Philharmonic players.
To march. Yeah, I noticed that. So you have the marching bands who come by, and then you had people with triangles and harps. And
right, but see,
lots of violins.
To do that, though, they have to actually join a fire department, a fire company.
Oh.
So these, the bassoon player, he has to learn how to, shoot water and put out fires.
So that's a problem. We kind of have an uptick in, places that should be put out by fire, but they're really not being put out in time, and they're kind of burning to the ground. So... I don't really know how qualified they are. I mean, I don't know what kind of training goes in. Tony, what kind of training would they need to do?
Well, they'd need substantial training. They need course work, book work kind of stuff, lectures, PowerPoints, that type of thing. And then you would need hands-on. So you'd actually have to practice with the materials that you'd be utilizing, whether it be water or spray foam, especially with the new electric vehicle stuff. There's some special blankets that you can put over the vehicle if it's burning. There's special penetrators to get into the car battery to try and quench it, which you really can't. So they would need all that kind of training.
Okay. Well, here's the problem: is I don't know if they're getting that. I mean, what they're training on them instead is like throwing the candy at the parade. You know, you have the parade, you come by, you know, you're playing the instrument, but how do you play the instrument? And you need to throw candy because kids are expecting that as you're going by.
Some of the guys, the saxophone players, are sticking candy down, you know, the hole.
Yeah.
And they blow it, pops out, but there's like all this saliva and stuff. But kids are fine with it pretty much. My kids are fine with it.
Yeah, but the problem is it doesn't sound well. You know, you always can tell the Philharmonic's coming down because they just sound off. Like they're stuffing candy and the violin strings are actually like edible, so they can pull them off. And
They're saying they're floss. They're using it floss. They also taking, you know, the resin. They're throwing it to the kids and they're chewing on it. I guess it's good.
They're flossing their teeth with
but
violin strings.
Kids,
And
you shouldn't be eating resin.
So is that part of how they're like supplementing their income by selling?
Well, they have no income.
floss?
They were cut from the Philharmonic.
Oh.
So now they're just doing this. I don't know. Do they make money? I mean, they're volunteer, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you march in a parade and the best one wins, but again, because of the candy issues and disassembling instruments as they're marching, they're really not winning too much. You know,
So they're trying to get side jobs to help supplement their pay, or are they
They
trying
have
to
no
raise
pay.
money?
They're supplementing no pay.
they're just trying to eat, Tony.
Well, then it's
You know,
easy to supplement.
Right.
You know.
Well, we were talking about, like, I'm not really sure how they're making their living, but they're throwing candy. And we're just trying to figure out, you know, the different methods of throwing, I guess.
Oh.
I don't know
Yeah.
if that's fun.
Well, who pays for the candy?
They do.
Oh. Well, so already they're losing money.
They're
So
losing
they don't have
money.
a
That's one way to
job
look at it, Tony.
that pays, and they got to buy candy.
That's kind of the negative way of looking at it, Tony. I don't think they look at it that way.
Well-
Maybe they should, because that, you know,
Yeah.
why they're in this
I
situation.
mean, yeah.
We focus on the positive in the show, Tony. We don't really want to dwell on, you know, the fact like they're starving and things like that. You know, here's the thing. And we're at their parade and the Philharmonic guys come by and they're really not like tossing that candy appropriately. Like it's either it's going too short and the kid's got to run out in the street and that's always dangerous, or it's going a little bit too far for the kid. You know, sometimes there's too much. Sometimes you're throwing like 50 suckers,
So
and you
now-
really need to mix that up with Smarties.
They need some training, some candy toss training.
Yeah, Tony. I mean, what is there specialized training with that? I mean, you know,
Yeah.
what do they need? What training?
Well,
do
I
they-
think the problem is they're taking it online.
Taking one online, Tony.
The candy toss training. I think they're taking it
Is it
online.
like, do they have to do like corn? They practice cornhole?
Yeah, well, whatever they're practicing, they're doing it on the internet, and you really can't like. You could kind of fake throw. You know, you got those.
Yeah.
The
Got the-
Wii or
you
whatever.
got the, people who do the,
controllers. yeah,
people who do the like a frisbee toss, and you got the flippers,
right.
And the
Yeah,
ones that
the-
like
the-
dead
the
toss.
bowling, and you know, I'm sure they got pickleball and stuff.
Sure.
You know, which is all well and good on the game, but then you go out to actually do it. Like if you learned pickleball on the game,
Yeah. I don't know how to play. I don't know how to play that.
and then you went to a real court and tried to play, it's not exactly the same. So, you know, the candy toss, you need hands-on with real candy.
You need diversity too. Like my kids, again, the Philharmonic guys come by, and there's a lot of Tootsie Rolls. Like I know money's tight and Tootsie Rolls are cheap, but you know they really need to diversify that candy. We need Smarties, we need suckers in there. You know, I think you'd really win them over with a bit of honey. You'd really have a shot of winning the prize. You throw the bit of honey in there. I mean, there's a lot of options. I don't think they're aware of.
Well said.
Oh, before we go, we do have a picture. This is where these guys perform. It's
Oh,
you know, really they're performing in sports bubbles.
Is that a
That's
bubble hockey?
No,
arena?
it's a practice field, Mike. It's like practice field for the Bills or some other sports teams.
Is each person in the crowd on a spinny thing that you spin? You know, do they spin around?
They might, and that's
it does look like they're on racks. Is that the audience? You could spin the audience.
Is that the what's the people that what are the countries that meet,
ushers.
the countries that meet every year?
United
That's
Nations?
That's it. Is that the United Nations on the top?
Florida.
Right there, is that the United Nations?
Okay, so this is a problem. They're playing in a practice bubble dome. I mean, there's punters who are getting in. There's kickers who need the practice. They got to work around them. They got to work around some countries meeting and trying to discover,
Well, they're talking about weapons and things up
Yeah.
top, and
then they're trying to play. Like it's hard to discuss world policy when the triangle guy is hitting that thing 30 times. Like I know he needs to practice, but I'm going to lose my concentration at that point.
Jay, what can we do? I mean, what are we doing, Jay? What is going on? Why, Jay? What is going on? Listen, first off, there's 2 viewers, okay, which means it's your wife and Tony. Okay? We had 4, we lost them.
Okay.
Can we talk about real substantive issues, Jay?
So wait, okay, sure.
I mean, can we talk about something that's worth value? Like,
Sure.
can you come up with something? I
Yeah,
don't know.
we have one coming up.
All right, what do you got?
With that help. So,
Can I
so our next set of issues is our bubble hockey update. It's an issue always of value. It's a viewer favorite because as a lot of our viewers do participate in this game. And I think what we know, or actually, Tony, I want you to introduce this because it's a medical issue, and I don't really have good expertise in that.
Yeah, so one of our viewers pointed out that all of the players tend to favor one particular leg or foot. So I don't know if you could show that on the screen.
Let's see.
But because they're always like in one position, one
Let's
foot,
see.
they're starting to come down with carpal ankle tunnel static posture syndrome. Carpal and ankle tunnel static posture syndrome.
Is that cat's foot?
Catspus. Yeah.
Catspus. So catspus. On which leg? Is it the leg that's up, Tony, or is it the leg they skate on?
Oh, that's a great observation. I think the trail leg's got a different syndrome, which they haven't named yet.
Now, when I stand on one foot for a very long time, you're gonna mess with your Achilles. It is hard. You kind of get a lot more pressure on your knee.
Yeah.
The foot that's up is just like you really want to put it down. Like you really just want to put it down on the ground.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know. So that could. But the carpal amplitude tunnel, scarpunal tunnel vision thing, is that so which foot is it, Tony?
Well, they're mostly concerned with the foot that you're standing on, but I mean the static posture part really could be any of the legs or limbs for that matter, because it really doesn't move. It's kind of like always
static. It's static.
Yeah. So that's always a risk. And then the carpal tunnel, that's actually in the wrist, but sometimes these names don't quite flow correctly. But there's like things in the ankle that aren't working right because they're not moving.
Tony, like Super Checks is countering. They're saying, hey, we support metal braces. You can see that. Like we drill into these guys on the bottom of their feet. We ram a metal rod up there. They should have no problem with that ankle.
They actually, carpal tunnel is actually a tunnel. That's what happens is the tunneling that happens in your bones. Okay. And they actually put a tunnel in the guy's foot so they can put that static, that stake up. Thus the name carpal tunnel, ample tunnel.
Oh, so Super Checks actually gave him that condition.
Yes, they created this. That's what you do.
Yeah, because carpal tunnels are actually in your wrist, so they took that and said, well, if it works for the wrist, why not the ankle?
Not put a hole in the ankle.
And then made the tunnel.
And they put a carp in there, like a fish.
I
guess.
Yeah. So, all right. Well,
carp. Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Tunnel.
Makes sense. So the thing is, the only one who doesn't have this problem is the goalie. The goalie is on. It looks to be on both feet. His stick is good. His waffle, right, Tony? That's good ergonomics. If I'm at work sometimes, I just do the goalie position. I feel good after that, right?
Yeah.
Tony?
But imagine being in that goalie position like all day long, kind of crouched down.
Okay. So what is he developed? Can he suddenly not move his elbows after a while?
Well, he's got crouched goalie static posture syndrome in his back. It's more of a back thing. Knees, back.
Okay, so sorry if we go back to that picture.
I don't know if I can, Jay. Yeah, I can. Here you go.
Is that goalie just never ever going to stand up straight in his lifetime?
It would take a long time. I mean, think about it. When you're not moving, or you're crouched, or you're in a static posture, and then you go to move,
It hurts.
it hurts. It's hard to get to stretch that out.
Okay.
So he's been like that. I don't know, when did the game come out? 40 years ago, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's going to take at least that long to stretch it out.
What if we did one of those like mini blowtorches to the back? Could that help put the heat on that needs to stretch the poly?
Yeah.
And could he get up? Maybe to reach something up top in the cookie. Well, I don't know. It doesn't have to be cookies, but you know what I mean.
Top
Like something
shelf,
that you
yeah.
keep up high so that kids don't get like rat poison or something like that. Could he reach the rat poisoning?
Yeah, and top shelf where Mama hides the cookies, he's always been susceptible to. So he'd want to try and do that.
Yeah.
Not only for his own sanity, but for increase his goalkeeping ability.
Yeah. You might need rat poisoning too, in case there's an issue there. So
Right.
yeah. All right. If you just joined us, you're watching IssueNite. We talk about important and serious issues of the day. Don't forget to participate in the chat. Mike, do we have to click a button? If there's... Well, Tony, you can type something, right?
Sure, I can chat.
All right, so Tony will chat with us as he's participating in the show. And we have the next set of issues we call perpetual issues.
Oh,
So we talked about this before. There was the Galaga game, which you often see at your neighborhood hockey rink or your roller skating rink or in the Democratic National Convention building or
Democratic National Anthem.
maybe if they play it behind as they're singing, you got the Galaga guys coming down like the bees.
We
And
talked about Galaga. We talked about the perpetual war that they're having, that they're just nonstop war, that they never give up. The only time they stop is when they run out of money. Someone adds another quarter, they're at war again.
keep going, yeah.
The problem is these games are a quarter. Not
anymore.
And back in my day, that meant something, but it doesn't mean anything anymore. Kids just walking around with quarters all the time. Just, Mom, Dad, I'm going to throw this out.
Yeah.
Why don't you take it?
Now they have dollars, credit cards in these games.
They just put their phone up to the game.
One play $1. Give me a break. What is that? I mean,
That's nonsense.
they don't even do shrinkflation. Like, you'd think that the flippers would get smaller, everything would get smaller. The game would cost the same. At least that for a quarter. No.
Well, for $1, you think you get an extra guy for $1. You don't. You
get
still
nothing.
have 3 guys.
Yeah.
You're still gone. You only have 3 guys.
The only thing, Jade, Asteroids was, once you bought the game, it was free. So I mean, you could play as much as you
Well,
wanted.
that's the Atari game.
Right.
But if you
But
play
the
the
reality.
tabletop one,
So
not-
what's the problem with Asteroids, Jay?
go. The ship's always in a perpetual asteroid belt. We have a picture here.
Oh,
The ship can never get out. Always stuck in the
That's not it.
asteroid belt.
There you go.
When I click. There we go.
Okay, so yeah.
so is it a small ship or a big asteroid belt?
Well, I don't know, Tony. It's always been a small ship, especially when you lean over on the tabletop game. You kind of, like, where'd my ship go? You hit hyperspace. You're like, I don't know where this thing is. It's so small on the screen. Even the enemy ship that shoots at you, I don't even know where that thing comes from. I don't understand its point, its origin, like its mission. Its mission is just to create more havoc. There's already a lot of havoc. There's a ton of asteroids going on. We don't need some little ship coming out of nowhere and causing more mayhem. It's just not right. This poor guy can't get out.
Do you think? Go ahead, Tony. I have thoughts on this. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get off topic, but I think the National Asteroid Association's got a problem too with these guys, because what do? They shoot them and they blow up the asteroids, and that's creating all sorts of debris.
Nah, I mean, National Association. Okay, so they make the rules, right? I mean, like, for example, when it goes into hyperspace, right, and it never actually goes onto an asteroid, right? It doesn't die. It goes right in front of the asteroid.
Well,
then dies.
sometimes you hyperspace and you come right up, right again, and then boom, an asteroid hits you. It's like you don't even have an opportunity to react. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a chance. You take a 50-50 chance. Am I going to die, because I'm about to hit
Right.
by an asteroid, or am I
True.
going to die because I hyperspace into an asteroid.
Right, but either way, though, they haven't really. The guy's gonna die now. Does he regenerate? Does he come to life again? What's the deal? How come?
Well, your ships, Mike, they're right up here. I don't know. Will my cursor see how upper left?
Yeah,
you got 2 ships there. That's where they are. So,
right. But once you done, what happens to the guy? Like once he's
you gotta hit that transport button in time. I would think.
What
to
if
get
you
off.
don't? What if you don't hit it? What if you die?
Well, then you'd be dead.
But then it looks like he just a few seconds later he gets the next one. Jay.
Never really understood it. I don't know if I cared or, if the guy just does it so quick. I mean, Mike, all I know is my job is just to shoot asteroids. And to Tony's point, this is the thing is, if we can get this guy out of the asteroid belt, at least every now and then, I'm seeing tons of shooting stars. These things are coming down, and we're having problems. My Wi-Fi doesn't work properly, and, I'm sick of this. I'm on the trampoline looking up, and we're just trying to see satellites, and we see shooting stars getting in the way. And we're like, shoot, the asteroids guy is trying to, shoot more asteroids.
He's making all those particles and space debris, which, presumably might run into all our satellites.
That's right. That's right. And then we're going to have problems there. Then our tax money goes up because we got to pay for more satellites. And this poor guy in the asteroid belt, he's just trying to live. Like his ship and that hyperspace never gets him out, Tony. That's not I don't think that's hyperspace. Hyperspace in any documentary you saw always got that ship far away and out of the asteroid belt. Right?
And I don't understand why it can't get out. I mean, the Millennium Falcon, it got out in 14 and a half parsecs. Yeah. So it can't be too big. I mean, how big's a parsec?
It not only got out, there was something trying to eat it. And it got out from that thing, and it got out of the asteroid belt,
Guys, it's highly possible that our video is jumpy and choppy. But considering we only have one person watching, and that's you, Tony, we don't know. So I don't know if the quality is good or not. It's just saying error, YouTube not receiving enough video to maintain. How cryptic is that? It's not receiving enough video to work.
Interesting. This is our last issue, so I suppose we can just.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to stop the show instead of taking a break. We're actually going to stop, and then we'll start again. Second show.
Sounds good.
All right. So thank you, and we'll be back shortly. We'll be stop streaming, and then we'll